Welcome to Against Medical Advice. I'm your host, Jimmy Diamond. The identity and location of the following recording has been changed to protect the anonymity and confidentiality of the clients. The views and opinions of speaker do not directly reflect those of the podcast. The following is a live recording of real people struggling with addiction and trying to seek recovery. This is for educational purposes only. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome. Let's begin. We are talking about the searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves still. Does anybody remember what the overarching theme of the moral inventory is? It's a word that starts with E.
It starts with what?
That starts with E.
It starts with E.
Emotion.
Emotion. Yeah.
Yes. Now, does anybody remember what the definition of an emotion is?
A state.
Natural, instinctive state of mind, deriving from one's. Where are these natural, instinctive states of mind deriving from?
Circumstances,
Yes?
people,
Yes?
And relationships, right? No, wait, no.
Circumstances, moods, and relationships. Today, in the inventories that we've done, we have talked about resentment, shame and guilt, feelings, and fear. Those are the 4 inventories that we have done so far, right? Out of the 9 that we have. The next one we are doing is relationships, which is with 3 things: people, objects, concepts. Why is it important to look at our relationships?
They're always gonna have our emotions. They're always gonna have relationships.
Always going to have relationships. They're directly correlated with our emotions, right? So you're seeing that some of these emotions that we have, that we're going to have, that may be resentful, shameful, fearful, whatever the emotion related, may be coming from these relationships. Relationships are a direct cause of emotions. Okay? In emotions, if we are unable to manage them, we make unintelligent decisions, right? Our emotions trump our intelligence. So what you're going to see is there are relationships that we have that have the power to remove us from making the right decision. And those relationships are not just with people. Those relationships are also with concepts, with fucking ideas. God bless you.
Thank you.
And objects. Like, an object can give you a feeling. An idea can give you a feeling. A person can give you a feeling. And today, we're going to talk all about relationships. Probably going to talk about it next week too. And we're going to take a moral inventory and look at these relationships for what they are and say, is my behavior right or wrong in this relationship? What is my role in this relationship? Where have my choices, beliefs, and values created unhealthy or destructive relationships, right? This is kind of like what we're going to be looking at. And we're also going to be including the relationship with ourselves, our future selves, our past selves, so on and so forth. Now, a relationship, by definition, so now let's get into kind of defining what a relationship is, and then I want to talk about kind of what comes to mind. Let's just start with that right here. What comes to mind when you think of relationship?
partners,
What was it?
partners, Like,
Partners?
yeah.
Like romantic?
Yeah.
Family.
Family? Relationships?
Business.
Friends.
Friends? What else?
Pets.
Pets?
Yeah.
Yourself.
Self.
Therapist.
What?
With your therapist.
Therapist?
What's your higher power?
Ooh, there it is. Waiting for someone to say it.
Strangers.
Hmm?
Strangers. Like
Strangers? Let me ask you this.
Are we just covering people?
Yeah, just people.
Okay.
Why? Who else? You got someone else in mind?
No, I was thinking another way.
Well, what do you think? Well, just kind of like what comes to mind when you think about relationships. And,
All that.
okay, so this is what a relationship is. Like the different kind of relationships, perhaps, with people. But what does a healthy relationship mean? So you have a relationship, but what does a healthy relationship mean to you?
Respect, boundaries, support. Yeah.
Respect, boundaries,
Mutual.
support.
Mutual. Bi-directional.
Mutual what?
Like mutual, bi-directional. All those things. You know.
What does that mean? Mutual bidirectional. Like we're mutually going in one direction, kinda?
Well, no. Like when it comes to support, it's like I can notice that somebody's down, and then I can step up and support them.
Like reciprocal.
Yeah, reciprocal. The reciprocation.
Reciprocation.
Of all those things.
Not like one-way
Yeah.
traffic. You know.
Yep. Yeah, not a
Which I
one-way
was gonna
street.
say understanding, so it's pretty much
Understand empathy.
empathy, understanding.
So in order for anybody else, what does a healthy relationship mean to me? Like what does it take to have a healthy relationship?
Honesty
Communication.
and loyalty.
Communication.
Honesty and loyalty.
Honesty, loyalty.
Trust.
Trust. We'll call those values, principles, right? Are these healthy qualities in a relationship non-negotiable in all relationships?
No.
No.
Relationships are
They're negotiable.
Right? Some are negotiable, some aren't.
Some
You know
are-
what I mean?
Well, each person has their own kind of like deal breakers, you know.
The morals.
Yeah, like loyalty could be a big one for some people. You know.
Mm-hmm. Is there a... Do you think there is a morally right and wrong, good and bad to deal with all types of relationships?
I think you have to be equally yoked, you know?
It's a loaded question.
Like, your values, your morals, your beliefs line up, but you also, like, respect that they have different, like, ideas or
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe in some relationships, some of these values hold more weight than other relationships.
Mm.
And it's up to me to know that that is needed more in this relationship than that relationship.
Right, like an intimate romantic relationship, loyalty is key and crucial. But in business, you know,
Yo.
I've been burned, but then still do business with that person because, you know, that's business sometimes. And you know, you learn to forgive them. You have to talk about it, and you go, look, I know you went behind our back, tried to find another company to work with. It didn't work out. You came back to us. Let's just forget about that and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, yeah, you know, it's not like I'm gonna fucking not, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it doesn't really work like that in a romantic thing.
Right. It's just, well, now it's kind of like we're getting into the idea of, yeah, this makes a healthy relationship, but that does not make every relationship healthy. You know what I mean? And sometimes what addiction can do for me is remove my ability to know what relationships are high value, what relationships are low value, how to treat relationships one way, how to not treat relationships another way, and many things can get in the way of me maintaining a healthy relationship. From the moral inventory that we do today, we're going to see how drugs, alcohol, things like that, addiction, plays a major role in creating unhealthy or destructive relationships. And not only just the physicalness of the drink or the drug, but there are people associated with your addiction that if you have a relationship with them, your family might be like, you're fucking up. Mm-hmm. If you have an idea in your head and you just share that with someone, you may have a relationship with someone, they look at you and say, you're fucking up. Just from an idea. You see what I'm saying? The fact that you have a relationship with that idea and you communicate that relationship, you respect that relationship, you allow the boundaries of the idea prevent you from having other relationships, that's where these problems come in. And it's how to identify them. And when you think about just that idea, that is so complex, dude. That is a complex idea, thinking about, well, what ideas maybe you're preventing me from like having a relationship with a partner? What ideas are preventing me from like building my relationships better with my family? Like, why can't I fix my marriage? Like, what the fuck is going on? This could be the answer. I don't know. You know? Maybe from doing a moral inventory, you develop some sort of algorithm that shows you the very idea or person or thing that you have to let go of, dude. Like, it just has to be let go of. I don't know what that is. We may figure it out in here. Now, any questions, thoughts so far? What is a relationship?
Give and take.
A relationship, by definition, the way in which two or more people, objects, and concepts, people, objects, concepts, are connected, or the state of being connected. Like if you, like the idea one, right? I'm not directly like connected. Like say you come out and you say something like, yeah, I'm thinking about tonight meeting up with a couple old buddies and going to get a couple wings. You know what I mean? They drink and stuff like that. Dude, just that idea, the fact that you're having a relationship with that, engaging in that thought, someone may look and say, that is wrong for you to think that way. You know what I mean? That is not right. And we defend that. And that is where problems begin to occur. You know what I'm saying? And when you look back at a moral inventory, you may see a lot of those defensive self-will type of behaviors are around relationships with drugs and alcohol. And those relationships, like, you ever have someone who was in a relationship, like a bad relationship, and you just like hang out with them and you're talking, and in the conversation, just like as the flow of conversation goes, the person who harmed you or whatever in the past comes up, and you're like, oh, yeah, dude. Remember fucking what's his name? Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to do that. You see what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's okay, you know? It's like that, your relationship, your inability to overcome whatever emotional attachment is to that relationship is jading my ability to be there for you. Like, I can't even talk to you or support you because we can't even talk about it. The emotional attachment to that relationship that holds this trauma or unhealthy, destructive past is so overwhelming, we can't even talk about it. We can't even overcome the emotion. We can't even, like... And if that can be just as powerful with the negative as it is the positive, dude. Like, you can have someone have such a positive relationship with drugs and alcohol that they see no reason to remove it from their life. And that's an unhealthy emotional attachment to said thing, you know? So, let's talk a little bit about some of these relationships. We're going to kind of start with relationships with people, you know what I mean? Then we're going to move on to same method of understanding people, move on to objects, and then hopefully by the time we're done talking about them, we're going to jump into the inventory, okay? How many people have you met your whole life?
760.
Dude, I would argue more.
32,800.
I would say in the thousands.
My contact list.
No, I'm talking like, dude at the bodega. You know what I mean? I'm talking like every single person you think that you have met your whole life, dude.
I would say thousands.
Thousands, dude. Tens of thousands. Hundreds of thousands, maybe, for some people. You know what I mean? Out of those tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that you have met your whole life, how many do you want to, like, keep in your life?
2.
That's what I was
Like 4.
It's different for everybody.
So how that exactly?
Five.
No, wait, hold on. It is different for everybody, and you need to figure out what that number is for you, because this is an individual inventory. Although we're doing it together, no problem. This is an individual inventory, and you need to say like 4, 2, 5. You know what I mean? Like, and of those 5 to 4 people, what nature are they? Are they family? Are they friends? Are they
Best friends.
business associates? You know what I mean? Are they? Is it the dude at the bodega? Now, so let's say maybe like family, right? In order to take a problem and make it better, you need to invest 3 things. We talked about this in 3rd step. Time, effort, self. Look at the relationships with the people that you want to keep in your life. Is it family? I just want to ask. Is it family? Mostly family? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has like family on there. Some friends maybe on there too, but we'll just stick with family, right? How much time have you been putting into that relationship?
My whole life.
Well, lately, not enough.
How much sober time have you put into that relationship?
Not a lot.
20 years.
How much effort do you put into that relationship? What is the, ready? So going back to, let's just use time real quick. How much time do you put into that relationship? What is the quality of time? Is it like a good time that you're with them? Or is it like a random time? You know what I mean? Like, is it quality time? Or is it high quality time? Or is it low quality time? Are you putting in a lot of quantity time? Like, do you have quantity adding up, like good time? A lot of good time or a lot of bad time, right? So now this is just a moral, there's really no, this is not the inventory. This is just kind of like looking at relationships and evaluating them, identifying them, and building an understanding of how complex they are, okay? Now, just because they're complex does not mean the solution is not easy. I can't make the solution any easier than stay sober. Okay? Like, although what we're talking about is super complex, like, we could have the craziest equation over here, and it would just look like this, equal sober. On the other side, this could be crazy, the craziest times, multiply, parentheses, cubed, all this crazy shit, gravity, who knows, right? But over there, it's like, equals sober. So, just stay sober, and all of that complex shit that we're talking about today just works itself out. It's equal, okay? So you got family, time. Now keep in mind, all of these require a look at quantity and quality, all right? So we're looking at quantity, quality. Time, quality time, right? How about effort? How much effort are you really putting into this relationship? And where does the effort need to be put into that relationship? Well, what are some of the areas in which I should put my effort into the relationship? Respect, boundaries, trust. Am I putting effort into building those things back up? What does the effort look like, you know? If I don't know, I need to find out. And you know how you find out? You communicate. Oh my god, dude. Effort.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy, man. So I was with my coworker all weekend. I was with a bunch of my coworkers, but this one guy, and he's having some problems in his marriage. And again, look, I don't really get into guys' marriage because I'm divorced, and I figure I'm not the guy to talk to about that.
Uh-huh.
But he just wouldn't. He just needed it. He knows I'm in recovery. He knows I'm getting a lot of psychotherapy, so he was leaning on me. And man, it was just boiled down to communication. You know, I'm like, you're so well spoken when it comes to explaining this stuff to me, and I can see exactly. I'm like, why? He's like, well. It's like I try to talk to my wife about it, and she just like doesn't want to talk about it. She and it's like he's like then I start feeling like the chick, like the woman, and you know what I mean. And then I shut down because like I want to go to therapy. I want to go to like marriage counseling. I want to talk about these issues because I know they're not just gonna go dissipate without work. But every time I bring them up, she just kind of like, and I'm like I didn't know what to tell him, you know.
Do you ever feel that way too, where it's like you're more comfortable sharing some stuff with someone and not with someone else?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know that he's uncomfortable trying to get his wife on board with like moving into a therapy direction. It's just that she is like, she's not, she doesn't receive it, and she's just, he's like, she's just very like a guy.
And it's like,
it's usually the woman that wants the guy to go to therapy, and the guy's like, nah, I don't want to do that, you know?
Well, I mean, what do you think? Has anybody been in a situation like that? Anybody? I mean, is that guy alone? 1, 2, 3, maybe, right? What is preventing us from saying how we feel? Like, this guy has a feeling, and he has to communicate that feeling to her. And he's having a difficult time doing that. Like, why is that difficult?
Well, in my situation, I was scared to hurt my ex, if I communicate or tell the truth about something that was going on, I feel like she'll get mad at me, or her feelings will get hurt, or I don't know. If I tell her, I mean, she at one point she was like, "Hey, I'm going to therapy. Let's go with together." And I was like, "Okay, we'll go together, but I have work today. You know, I can't go today. Can we do it next week?" She was like, "It's just blah blah blah." That's tough situation. And I was like, I wanted to say, I was like, give me time. Like, give me time to think about this. But I didn't want to say that. I was like, okay, let's just go. I'm just going to call out work. Let's go. So I did. I'm scared to hurt her feelings. Maybe that's the situation. I don't know.
Cause pain. Like, if I say this, if I actually communicate this, I may hurt their feelings. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I care a lot about them.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that she's carrying something that, just like what you said, she can't even go there.
Yeah.
She's so like
She's gonna hurt
she's got
his
some.
feelings.
Yeah, she just walks out of the room. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but since I couldn't really give him anything on that, I did shift it to, so the guy, he starts the day off with a pre-workout, but he doesn't work out. then he's sucking down kratom all day because he's got back and knee pain, and then he drinks a shit ton of Starbucks coffee, and him and his wife have a ritual every evening, like around when he gets home from work, like around 6:30, they smoke a joint together. And I was like, well, I don't have anything on the other thing, but let's talk about those things, you know, like the stimulant in the morning, you know. And so I was just like, just try to start weaning your stuff off of that. I think if you get, you know, and I'm like, even the smoking a joint with your wife thing, dude, just make it like a Friday and Saturday thing, and like do a crossword puzzle, read an article in the paper, do some other healthy, because it's the ritual of being with his wife together in the evening, regardless of what's happening. You know, it's not really the pot. You know, it might be the pot a little bit, but it's not that, you know?
Well,
The kratom is certainly not.
and keep in mind, like, think about it.
That's
I
the
mean,
worst-
look, dude,
worst
like, we're sitting at the
withdrawals
airport waiting for our flight. He was fucking sweaty at the end. It was like, the flight was at 7:30 last night, so like at 6:30 we're at the airport, and it's air conditioned, it's nice, you know, everyone's just kind of talking about the conference, and he's just like, dude, I gotta walk around. I'm looking like, I'm like, you don't look good, dude.
Yeah.
You don't look healthy.
Dude, and it's like, yeah, I see that shit all the time. And the number one thing that messes up all my relationships, like regardless of romantic, dude, this is any relationship, is my own closed-mindedness, dude. Like, when I am closed-minded to options, like, that's where I start getting messed up. You know what I mean? Because I will, like, you're sharing options, you're sharing opinions. When I'm closed-minded to that, I don't have new solution. I don't have new answer. You know what I mean? Not saying I have to implement it, but I have to, like, ask questions. You know what I mean? I can, like, inquire about it. Why don't you tell her about it? And then you, like, jump in that. What would happen if I did? What would happen if I talked about this? Well, you know what I mean? And you kind of start seeing possibilities. And then going back to the past inventories, you may see fear preventing you from acting on that communication, which is a requirement in that specific relationship. You see what I'm saying? Why else? So maybe don't want to cause pain. Why else might someone not, like, share how they feel in a relationship? What is it?
Fear of rejection.
Rejection. All right, just writing a couple of them down. We can come back to those. All right, but I want to kind of get out of these time and effort things, right? So we talked about time, putting time into the relationship, right? And a lot of people justify addictions as a result of missed time. I look at workaholics saying, I'm working, I'm making money for the family, but you're not putting time in with the fam. You in front of a computer doing whatever it is not in front of kids. And I am just talking about that because I can be guilty of that, dude. Even in the cell phone, putting the cell phone down, right? Now, we're talking about relationships, not just with the object itself, so it's not just with actually being connected. Like, my kid may not only have an issue with me, like, on my computer, like with, like, the object right there, But there could also be an issue in the relationship if I'm with her, no computer, in the state of mind thinking of work. You see what I'm saying? The same way as I could be drinking in front of my kid and that could be a problem, or I could be in the state of drunk and that's a problem. You see what I'm saying? The relationship is still jaded. You see people who live entire relationships using every single time they're with this other person. And I think you've heard me talk about this. I say that they black out every single night they're with this person, and they go, there goes a whole year, 2 years, decade, 20 years of living with this person, blackout drunk with them, and you get sober, and we're like, who is this person, dude? I don't fucking know this person. I don't remember the past 20 fucking years, you know? And it doesn't have to be with another person. It could be with myself. Now I don't even remember what I did the past 20 years. How do I even get to this point? Now there's putting in quantity. You want to put quantity, like having quantity. That's how you build trust, right? Lots of examples of how you put more effort in. Initiation, things like that, right? And then likewise with the quality. The quality of that effort needs to be good too. You don't want to mope. Ugh. Yeah, let's go to therapy. Come on. It's like, yo, what kind of benefits, what kind of, positive side effects are going to be yielded from moping the whole time? You know what I mean? From just like putting in the bare minimum effort, right? Bare minimum. My family does not deserve bare minimum treatment, dude. They do not deserve. I put so much effort into using. Are you kidding me? I can surely make a phone call, send a text message, write a fucking postcard. I don't know. And self. You have to be there. You have to do it. Okay? It's not like, oh, parents are watching them. Oh, she's this. I don't know. It's like, you got to be the one to do this, dude. You have to be the one to communicate. In that communication, there has to be a lot of quantity. Like a lot of you has to be there. Like some amount. If you're not there, you're not there. There is no relationship. You know what I mean? And that time that you are there, it needs to be high quality. Yeah, you're there all the time, but you're passed out drunk. Yeah, you're there all the time, but you're nodding out. Yeah, you're there all the time, but you're like cracked out cleaning, dude. Like, you're not sitting here with me. You're not like,
Right.
you know what I mean? We're not building a relationship. I'm watching you, like, be high.
Yeah.
And it's like, what kind of relationship is formed from that?
Corrupt, unhealthy.
Okay, so I come home, we're dating, I come home, and every single night, you're fucking passed out drunk when I come home from work, dude.
There's no relationship.
You know what happens? They usually, the first time, whoa, what the fuck? You were shit-faced last night? But eventually, the tolerance increases. And their willingness to talk to you about it decreases. Because you don't want to talk about it. So now instead of talking about it, I come in and I go, oh.
Of course.
And I walk.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
And some people do this with, it doesn't just have to be that, it could be any behavior. Like, what's your relationship with treatment? Does it work for you? You know what I mean? Oh, here we go again. Back to treatment. Let's see how this goes. You know, that relationship they have with it is not... I mean, I'm working with an individual right now, and they're like, no, treatment doesn't work. One time he went to treatment, and they did nothing. I'm like, yo, you're basing your idea of treatment on a one-time stay for a 21-year-old kid, dude. You know what I mean? You're misrepresenting treatment from your own misunderstanding of what treatment is and its own capabilities. You know what I mean? So it's like, I need to evaluate that for myself. Like some people put too much of themselves in. Like, we're talking about not putting enough. Some people put too much. Like, yo, how about you go to a fucking meeting and get the fuck out of the house? I don't need you to be here. I need you to, like, go do shit. You know what I mean? I need you to, like, go focus on your recovery. Or don't you have, like, a meeting to go to? Or, like, a sponsor to call or some shit, dude? You know what I mean? Do I have a relationship with that stuff? And is their lack of that relationship causing me to have a character defect? Like, this is something you should have and you don't have. You need that. If you're gonna be my partner, if you're gonna be my friend, if you're gonna be this, you have to have that. And the fact that you don't have that is a defect on your mental and moral quality. And I can't be in a relationship with someone like that. So it's like, how do I begin balancing these things? How do I begin understanding the behaviors associated with this? Well, before we jump into the step work, I want to talk to you guys about some real science that's being done on relationships right now. Has anybody heard of Gottfield?
Gottman?
What is it?
Gottman?
Gottman? Yeah, that's it. The relationship guy? Okay. He has, I'm going to pull this up. He has the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse of relationships. You've heard of it?
I've seen this, yeah.
And he also has the 35 questions to intimacy. Have you done that?
No, I was like spun out on Adderall, so I don't remember. A lot of this shit is just like some bad memory.
And their antidotes. Yeah, so where is it? I like looking at one specific one. Here it is. I like this one. We'll go with this one. Whoa. So, also the 30, like I cannot stress enough, if you want to like build intimacy in your relationships, this is like science-based. I've done it. It is fucking dope as shit. It's called the 36 Questions to Intimacy. It's Gottman's thing. You basically like have it on your phone, and we would like sit together across from each other, and I ask you a question, you answer it, I answer it, then I hand it to you. You ask the next question to me, I answer, you answer, then you hand the phone back, and we go back and forth. The questions progressively get like more and more in depth. So they start off with like, what's your favorite, I don't know, food? What's your favorite this? And then it's like, what are your beliefs on like, tell me your life story in 4 minutes. Like questions like that. And then it's like, what's the toughest thing you've ever overcome in life? Just a bunch of questions like that. And by the end, you're like, yo, I fucking love you, dude. It's like crazy.
I've done that with my wife in marriage.
And how was it?
It was good.
It was good, right?
Yeah.
Positive experience.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, wow, okay. I didn't know that about you.
Wasn't the original experiment done with strangers?
I think so, maybe. I have no idea. I'm just gonna say I think so because you're probably more right than I am. Okay, these are the 4 horsemen of relationships. So if you see these things in a relationship, you're on a path of destruction. In addition to these, some other clear indications of divorce is eye rolling.
Oh God.
Yo, eye rolling is like one of those, from what I hear, one of those things that like you should not do if you're in a relationship, is roll your eyes. Same thing with like tinkering with stuff. So if like you're talking to me about like relationship shit and I'm like fucking with my fingernails, dude. It's like my fingernails are more important than what you're talking about. You know what I mean? It's like, give them focus, like listen to them, look at them, be attentive, you know? Okay, so these are the 4 horsemen. criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Criticism. Communication comes across as attacking someone's personality. It is often stated in universal terms, you never, you're too lazy, usually results in defensiveness or stonewalling by the recipient. So, and it's funny because these things, for me, I behave in these ways in active addiction, and then when I get sober, other people respond to me this way. And I think that, like, they're wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, they've been, yeah. So it's not, it's just funny how all of a sudden everybody starts doing it to me, and I get upset. You know what I'm saying?
You don't notice it when you're high.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't care.
That emotion is non-existent. The numbness, dude, like
Yeah, like, I don't give a fuck about boundaries when I got my drugs, you know?
Dude, and then it's like, we get sober, and that doesn't really go away, though. It's like, they're still I don't give a fuck about you still. I'm trying to fucking be, don't fuck this, dude. And that's what happens, you know? Not always, but. So to counter criticism, now this goes back, your boy could do this, right? Describe what you're feeling as neutrally as possible while still making your point. Can you tell me why you choose that approach? Like, why should I communicate with her? Like, you're giving me the approach. I should ask, like, what do I do? You know what I mean? How is that gonna work? What's gonna happen, you know? And I'll tell you, man, if you want to fix your relationships, you're not going to be 100% when you go out there and try these things. The best you're going to get is identifying you're doing them. Not the best you're going to get, but I mean, most people who are trying to do this the first time are going to identify, fuck, I just criticized them. You know what I mean? You're not going to be like, I'm about to criticize them. You're probably going to criticize them and then have that evidence to look back on and say, oh, I shouldn't have done it that way, you know? Contempt. Any statement or non-verbal behavior, so this is body language, huffs and puffs, eye rolling, looking at the nails, that tries to elevate you to a higher ground. It is the epitome of disrespect. Respect needed in a healthier relationship. And when you are not like focusing or giving nonverbal cues that like don't really that elevate you to a higher ground. Oh, here it goes. Epitome of disrespect. Put downs, mocking, rolling your eyes, sneering. Also likely to result in defensiveness or stonewalling. So when we use these things, people are often going to be like, yo, do you not agree with me? If you're rolling your eyes, you're sneering, you're putting me down, you're mocking me, you clearly don't agree with what I just said, dude. You know what I mean? So fuck you.
I think it goes a little bit more than not agreeing. Like,
please tell me.
You don't even care. You don't give a fuck. If I'm sitting there, you're just up there talking, doing your thing, and I'm over here like, you know, whatever, you know, you don't even care.
Yeah, you don't even respect me as a human, because I listen to plenty of people without doing those things that I don't agree with, but I give them respect as a human to allow them to, you know, perhaps I'm willing to listen, you know, that willingness is respect.
Isn't that nuts?
But I don't know.
And you bring it up. You bring up like a good point. Like they don't want to listen. You know what I mean? Well, what do they want to do?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Anything else?
They
So
just want to keep forging forward in this fucked up direction that we're going.
like, okay, you don't want to do this. What do you want to do? And they say anything else, and we say, go ahead. You know what I mean?
I'm a big whatever.
Yeah, and then because when people do that to me, and they have done that to me, that's what I say. I go, fine, whatever, bro. I'm fucking out of here, dude. And it's like, yo, that is not
That's not gonna work for me.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, it's not. I want to work. I want to work this through. You know what I mean? Why aren't you willing to sit here and talk to me?
But it's also important if this is like what's going on. Sometimes I've noticed in my past that this just might not be the right time, because you know you can circle back to it. You know, you don't have to try to. If that's what you're getting as a response from whatever it is in a business situation with your romantic partner, this might just not be the right time. I don't give up right then. You know, I don't go, well, fuck you, because that's not gonna.
Don't burn the bridge.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Let's and then maybe not even say let's circle back to this later. Just all right, cool.
Yo, and I think that's healthy in like any relationship.
And sometimes the next morning it's like, hey, you know that thing you were talking about? I'm ready to talk about that now.
Exactly.
And you're like,
And yo, maybe we
"Okay,
have.
bitch."
So check this out. Maybe in early recovery, that's what that looks like. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe like you hear people all the time saying in early recovery, I couldn't stay there. I had to get the fuck out of there. I ran away. I was like out of there. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, good. But at some point, you're gonna have to sit there.
Yep.
And you're gonna have to talk about it. And like a lot of people see that running away as something that worked then and that can always work and that's the answer, but that was just the answer for that time and place and space, dude. It's like that no longer is the answer. The relationship is different now, dude. Like now it's all now there's new variables involved, you know?
Can I play devil's advocate here?
Dude, that is why we're here.
So I have my family in general, my biological family in Ethiopia. I haven't talked to my sister in like probably a year now, my biological sister, and it's just like I ran away from it because I don't want to talk to her because it's like it brings back bad memories from the back, and every time I call her, I talk to her, some shit happens. Always some shit's gonna happen. So and for that reason, I'm like, I guess ran away. You can say that. Like I just blocked her everything. I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to talk about anything. So how is that gonna, like you said, running away is not good.
So go look at it this way. Kind of, and this goes back to what Daniel was saying, right? I want to be able to look back on my relationships saying I did everything right and good. That's the morals, you know what I mean? Looking back, you may be able to say, you know, I behaved the best way I could behave, you know what I mean? What do I want in the future? Do I want to be someone who doesn't have their sister in their life? Do I want my sister back in my life? Like, bro, you're a grown-ass adult who doesn't have to have people in your life. You know what I mean? Like, at one point, your family is a choice to have in your life, dude. Like, I choose to spend time with my mom and my dad and my sister and stuff like that. I don't fucking have to, dude. They're friends. They could, I mean, I hear lots of people who are like, I never see my dad. I never talk to my dad. I never do those things. And it's like, I could also do that, but I choose not to because I don't want to look back on a life having had the opportunity to make that relationship well and not doing it.
Yeah.
Now, there was a period of time where I chose to distance myself from my parents to identify what is the right and wrong way to treat them. How am I supposed to be a son? How do I be, you know, a good son to my mom, a good son to my dad, a good brother to my sister, you know what I mean? And in that journey, I walk back into those relationships and try to practice what I've learned, you know? But I don't fucking have to, dude. Especially if I look back on me actually giving it everything I've given, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of...
So, it's really interesting that you bring that up. Thanks for sharing. So, April will be about a year since I talked to my sister. Also, I had some behavior out of character that led to initially us becoming estranged. And I've been very much similar to you, ducking it, you know? But through my time in recovery, the way that I approach it, and it's right on the horizon, the reconciliation, things are moving in that direction. But it's after working with Alan for a bit, the first thing I needed to figure out is, and I think Jimmy's talking about this too, is what do I want? out of the relationship with my sister. Like, I know that she's not gonna be in my daily life, you know? There's people that are, but she's not one of those people. She never really was, you know, since I became an adult. But at the same time, there's some uneasiness within me about, you know, not being a little bit disconnected from my niece and my nephew, not really having a relationship with my brother-in-law anymore. And then I don't know what's going on in her head, you know? She could be totally fine with how it is right now, you know? But I just know from my side, I have a little bit of uneasiness towards it. And when I was really early in recovery, I'm still in early recovery, but I was like, no way, I don't even want to think about this, totally ducking it. But now I've built up a little bit of steam, and it's like, it's about time to knock this one out, you know? And it'll probably be, it's like in my head, I'm playing the tape, it's gonna be this whole fucking dramatic thing, but it's really not. She's probably gonna be like, it's cool, I'm glad that you're like triple digit sober now, just keep going, you know? I'm pretty sure, but you know, in my head, it's like, we're gonna have to rehash 41 years of bad behavior and her being one way to me. I don't know how it was between you and your sister, we can talk about that, but I have a little bit more deeper resentments towards her because she wasn't always really good to me. But still, even that, I have to really let go because it affects me, you know? It affects me, and I don't want to have everything, all my ducks in a row and all my books neatly aligned on the shelf, and then this one thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I was thinking about the same thing, but with, you know, with my spouse. There's gonna, when it comes down to it, it's gonna be, you know, what's your hang up and what's her hang ups, you know, and before you can start to really reconnect and get everything back to where you think that it should be, even though it might not never get to that point, but you're gonna have to address, you know, like do your amends process. You're gonna have to do that moral inventory, which what we're talking about. You're gonna have to make a living amends. You're gonna have to do, you know, some step work. It's not, you know, you can't call her out the blue and think that, you know, hey, I'm getting sober, let's get things, you know, things should be good. But they might be a little bit better than they were, you know, but it's still gonna take some work. And I know that for a fact. So, you know, I mean, things are better than they were. I'm not blacking out drunk, you know what I'm saying? And so.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like inside of like, it's almost like an organic thing, or it's our biochemistry or something that says that we have to have the ultimate love and respect and understanding between our blood relatives. And I don't think that it really works like that, you know what I mean? I feel a lot more love and respect from my sponsor, people in my sober network, friends, guys I play hockey with, than I do from blood relatives, you know? And it took me, I mean, I'm 41 years old, it took me a long time to realize that, but again, I don't want to say, I think it's amazing, there's still a beauty in that too, you know, in those relationships, but it's like Jimmy said, I'm grown, and this is a person that I can choose at what boundary level to be in my life, you know?
Mm-hmm. And think about, like, this is not something people think about, but it's like a character develops from who you hang around. Like, whoever you're around, whoever you spend time with, you're going to develop the mental and moral quality distinctive to that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're around 6 people who are millionaires, people are probably going to view you assumably as a millionaire. You know what I mean? If you're around 6 people who are fucking drinking, I would assume you were drinking if you were the 7th person there. You know what I mean? And I say that to say, you know, who do you want to be? Do you know anyone who doesn't have a relationship with their family? You know what I mean? I know people, this is my experience. I know people who don't have those relationships. Something happens and they look back wishing they had that relationship. That's it. You know what I mean? It's that regret long term that I am not willing to sign up for. And just for today, I have the ability and the tools to maybe fix those things, maybe not hands-on, maybe living in amends. If I can do that, then I'll do that, you know what I mean? But long term, it's a goal to bring that person into my life, because I look at my dad who hates his brother, and dude, relationships, you know what I mean? The moment he's brought up, he just gets into this bitter, like, man, I fucking hate him. And you can tell it's like, you're just so angry because you love your brother, dude. And you want that relationship with your brother. And there's this misunderstanding that's preventing you guys from like literally loving each other. You know what I mean? And it's like, he may live his whole life with that, you know? And I don't want to be that type of person, especially towards like my sister. I have a sister who's fucking done me dirty. I've done her dirty. And, you know, the most I try to do is be her fucking brother, dude. And that's tough, dude, to like be a brother. You know what I mean? To like, that's it, you know? Because we're not fucking 16 anymore, dude. We're not fucking 20, dude. You know what I mean? Like, when I see you doing shit that 20-year-olds do, I say to myself, what are you thinking? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, man? We're siblings. We're in this together, dude. Like, and that's just my moral compass around it. She could have a different moral compass. You know, even though we were raised by the same people, same environment, same everything. You know what I mean? But this is where it comes into play, right? This is where we get into the next relationship. Me and her are totally good. Like, when me and my sister hang out, we're good. Introduce drugs and alcohol, problems start happening. This is where, okay, we got these relationships. You know, I didn't even finish this. Let's finish this and then we're going to go on break. But we got these relationships, and once you start throwing objects into them, the relationships come to be a little bit more complex. It's no longer 2 or more things, it's 3 or more things. So if you want to get out of contempt, which is any statement, nonverbal behavior, avoid sarcasm, even if it's meant humorously, communicate appreciation and respect in small ways every day.
Bingo.
Quantity and quality right there. That's in that definition, right? Not waiting for formal review. So actually just taking initiative without like, did I do good? Could I have done better? Is there something that, you know what I mean? And we all appreciate appreciation. Defensiveness. Keep in mind, defensiveness is a result of criticism and contempt. So we may feel defensive in response to receiving criticism or contempt. Counter-perceived attack, often with a defensive counterattack. The negative communication is escalated and spins out of control. It doesn't say how it's escalated. It could be escalated with the language choice, with the volume, with the nonverbal behavior. When we become defensive, we don't take any responsibility for the part we play in the negative communication. It no longer becomes about what we were originally talking about. Now it's because you said it that way.
This is the gaslighting?
No, that is defensiveness. Gaslighting is more like criticism, I would say. Like, this is gaslighting. Like, you're such an asshole. That's why you think that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're
crazy.
You're crazy. You're the insane one.
Oh,
you think I'm high?
Instead
No,
of like
you're...
talking about the specific thing, it's like a generalized statement of you're a fucking asshole. or
Yeah.
crazy.
Now, this is kind of the same thing. And, like, with the defensiveness, so it's kind of the same thing, but I'm just, not taking, like, it's like a new argument. It becomes a new thing. Same thing with the gaslighting, but I guess, yeah, they're similar.
Yeah.
Defensiveness, taking responsibility by openly acknowledging our part in creating negativity. Like, shouldn't have said that, I'm sorry. That's literally a 9th step. Like, promptly 10 step, promptly making the amends, right? Let's start that again. I might not have expressed that thought very well. I apologize, right? Promptly making the amends when you've caused the harm. And stonewalling. I hate stonewalling. Avoiding contact and engagement with a colleague so that he or she feels ignored or invalidated often results in non-cooperation. When I get stonewalled, I don't feel that. I just am so fucking angry that we're not talking about this. Like, here I am being vulnerable, trying to talk about this, and nope, save it, and they walk out, dude. And you're just like, dude.
I'm dealing with that shit right now.
Slam the door.
It's awful.
Yo.
It'll make you feel fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
You just feel like you're like a fucking ghost, like they act like you're dead. Like, bullshit.
And I've done it too. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
when I do that, it's in an effort to stop the stimulus that's making me uncomfortable.
The worst is getting stonewalled while they're in contempt. So there's like, no, not now, and then they're rolling their eyes as they walk away.
Yeah, like the slamming the door, stomping, shit like that. Now this is where I like this recommendation, but we talked about this recommendation earlier and how people take this solution as something they should always do. And this solution is not always the tool for every situation like this. But take a break and come back calm and refreshed. Reflect on what is true. What is the true cause of your stonewalling? At least acknowledge you are listening and listening to understand even if you don't agree. So that is tough, dude. Like, not stonewalling requires you to like sit there and listen. Yeah, go ahead, tell me. Yeah, I don't see it that way. Can you explain it to me how you think I'm a dick? These are like actual conversations I've had. And it's like, oh, like I've literally done that. Like I have no idea how I was just an asshole. Like, I literally need you. And they're looking at me like, how do you not know you're a piece of shit? And I'm like, dude, okay, I know this sounds fucked up, but I need you to explain this to me. I didn't know I couldn't do that, dude. It's like,
teach me.
Yeah. And it's the opposite of stonewalling. Like, otherwise it's like, nope, that's right, you're wrong, just shut it off and keep going.
And what you were just doing is, you're not stonewalling. You didn't storm off, but you're being defensive. You're like, how was that? Was that offensive? And and also I'm sure you're doing the contempt. You're rolling your eyes like, what? How the fuck is that?
And dude, one time I used to stonewall my girl. So we would talk about shit, and I would just get to a point where I'd be, I'm not fucking doing this. I'm not fucking talking about this. And I would just fucking leave, right? And one day, she goes, if you leave, just know I'm sitting here trying to talk about it, and you're the one walking out that door. And I had my fucking hand on the door handle like this, and I was like, you know what? Fuck you, dude. And I left. And I'm fucking...
guy.
And like, I walked out, and I was like, yo, I'm the one who walks away. Like, she's right. Like, I'm the one who's not sitting there talking about, like, why can't I just sit there and talk about it? I talk about this with everyone else.
That's what's crazy.
But I can't sit there.
It's because it's not like you're one or the other, or you do it or you don't. It's like a million things going on at once, you know. So it's like sometimes you're the defensive one, sometimes you're the one being content, you know. It's crazy, you know.
It's so complex, dude. You guys understand me giving that disclaimer at the beginning of the class? We haven't even gotten into fucking objects yet, dude. You know what I mean? So take a break, come back. When we come back, we're going to start talking about objects and how objects interact with people and how those can determine relationships and stuff like that. All right, so we have talked about, we just got into the discussion with relationships with people. Now let's move into the idea of relationships with objects, okay? Are there healthy relationships with objects? Do you think that maybe these things we have right here also apply to relationships with objects?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do these apply to relationships with objects?
Yes.
Okay, so, again, stupid question. How many objects have you come across your whole life? Right? Millions.
Workout things.
How many objects do you think you're going to come into contact with just for today?
A couple.
40.
Are there, I don't have an answer to that. Are there, just I don't expect an answer. Are there objects in your life that are more important than other ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
What might some of those be?
Color, that black.
Like
I
workout
have-
Car.
things over a bomb.
Toothbrush.
Car, toothbrush,
Toothbrush. Toothpaste.
Somebody say bad.
Yes.
I agree with you on that one.
toothbrush.
You have a relationship with that?
I'll get it out there.
Okay.
What are we trying to identify?
What are objects you have a relationship with? Wedding ring?
Wedding band. Yeah.
Wedding band? Okay, let's start here. Similar to the wedding band, I'm assuming you never take that off.
No, I take it off.
Okay.
But I mean,
Is there, but you take it like everywhere you go pretty much.
yeah, I brought it.
What's another object that you take everywhere you go?
Shoes, wallet.
Shoes, wallet, phone, right? Clothes,
Cigarettes.
glasses,
say, I bring cigarettes everywhere.
cigarettes, lighter, right?
Yeah. Vapes for those.
Wallet, phone, glasses, lighter,
You wanna see?
cigs. What?
No, you said glasses. I just said if you wanna see.
Yep, if you want to see it, yeah. You got a chain? Wear your chain everywhere you go?
Yes, sir.
It's been on for about 2 years now. Never taken off.
Wow.
I have a fingerprint of my best friend. I don't have it with me, but I have it in my room.
Oh, a watch?
You say fingerprint?
What?
So now, what are some...
Fingerprint?
Fingerprint, yeah.
Okay, so thinking about that relationship, if you misplace your phone...
Freaks you the fuck out, bro. I thought I lost it this weekend, but my friend has like he rented a car to take his family to Orlando, and it's got like Google Maps, but it wasn't working. So he was like, let me just use your phone. And he put it up on his dash, and that was our navigation. And then I got out of the car, went into the hotel, I'm checking in, and I'm like, fuck, dude, fucking I think I lost it at the airport or in the plane or something. I'm like, fuck. And then I had like the scan to get the room and all this shit. And I'm like, fuck. And they were like, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name? I'm like, hold on, I got it, everything, the reservation number. And then my friend was like, oh, it's in the car. I was like, fuck. And I'm like,
Wow.
damn, I have an unhealthy thing with this thing, with this fucking
With the
Apple.
fucking phone.
Yeah, it's unhealthy.
Right. You ever misplace drugs like that?
I call it the old pat down. You get the.
You ever fucking like smoke like lint? Or fucking.
Bro, I used to walk around
Oh, there it is.
with my hand in my pocket.
Trying to find it.
No, on it.
Yeah.
Holding it.
Counting it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
repeat. Like, I would
Oh, yeah.
walk around like, 1, 2, 3, okay. 1, 2, 3. You know that move where you hold the pocket down so it doesn't come out? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Bro, imagine how many relationships can or have become unmanageable as a result of like misplacing drugs or like not having them, or even relationships that have been messed up as a result of having them. We're talking about a phone, dude, right? What other objects are like super important in your life? Like if you don't have glasses, does your life become unmanageable? Sure.
If you have
Not
vision
really, but
problems.
my eyes are-
Bro, I
Real
can't
fast.
if I don't have glasses, or I wear contacts. I wear glasses. I can't see without these contacts in my fucking face, dude. I can't. It's impossible, dude. Right? My relationship with these contact lenses is a little bit better than my old relationship with contact lenses. In active addiction, I had the same pair of contact lenses for 2 years.
Crusty boy.
Dude. Had to literally put Visine in my eyes like every hour. And I would do landscaping, all the dust, and you're just like, you have to like walk through it like this because you really want to protect your fucking contacts, dude. You know what I mean? Same pair of my glasses were held together with rubber bands on each side, different color. I had a red one over here and a green one over here. It's like, is that manageable? That's like barely manageable. And that's an object that I need in life.
Oh.
Oh, Shiite Muslim.
Shiite Muslim.
He went Doug. He went full
He
Doug
went
on that one.
Yeah.
Copy went that way. Again, Julia's backpack.
Need the whole task
Am I
force.
bad
One
one
thing
thing
that
that I feel that I didn't sit there today? I mean, that's why I'm asking. This is the room to ask that in.
Yeah, I didn't do any damage. Oh, she's gonna
She'll
hurt
never
me.
know, Doug.
She's gonna hurt me.
Keep talking.
Take a 5-minute
Keep talking.
break.
We got
Okay.
it.
Alright. So, what are some objects that you may have a relationship with like weekly?
Video games.
It's okay.
Video games,
Big book.
big book.
Okay, what would a meeting fall under?
Could be an object.
Okay.
Location, you know what I mean?
Long
Weekly, laundry, you know what I mean? I have a relationship with my washer and dryer. Weekly, you know what I mean? I have a relationship with my running shoes, maybe
Tupperware?
weekly.
Yeah.
What is it?
Tupperware?
Tupperware, you know what I mean? Things like that. Are there any objects that you don't have like relationships with all the time, but they're really fucking important to you, dude?
Yeah, like old trophies and shit.
Yeah. What's that? What is that called? What is that attachment called?
Sentimentality.
Sentimentality, dude. It has sentimental value versus what? Something that has like actual value?
Or practical.
Practical value.
Good.
Okay, now we're understanding that some of these objects have sentimental value, some of these objects have practical value. Going back to time, quality, everything like that, let's start by saying, okay, your phone, right? Can't be on your phone for the whole day, but can't be not on your phone at all. I mean, you could, both of them, you know what I mean? But is there like a healthy balance? Is there a healthy relationship to have with your phone?
You could.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, of course.
Unhealthy.
I mean, it is a tool that is absolutely, in today's world, necessary, you know?
Mhm.
It is, it's necessary. I mean,
Right.
but it's gotta be managed.
And that's how it kind of starts. I don't think anybody gets a phone saying, I can't wait to be hooked to this fucking thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think people kind of like get the phone, eventually fall into the powerlessness of it.
Look, I mean, there are professions where you can get around without it. I don't know, though. Is there? Like, if I was a
I mean,
chef.
I think you gotta have a phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at the restaurant, I had to turn in my phone every shift. I was not allowed to have
But,
my
like,
phone.
I can't,
But there was a
bro.
phone in the restaurant, so.
I'm in the communications industry.
Does anybody know the average amount of time they spend on their phone?
Over 8 hours.
Oh, my
2
phone
hours.
likes to tell me
8
every
hours.
week.
How much? 8 hours? A day?
Huh?
A day?
What the average of the
Average daily usage on your phone.
I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
6
1
hours.
hour.
About
6
8
hours.
to 10 brutal.
8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, mine's been pretty bad lately.
Mine's like 4
Not as
or
much-
5.
I mean,
How do you find out?
Go to your screen time on Sunday.
I have that off.
Here, look.
1 hour.
So if anybody's interested, you can pull your phone out.
That's facts.
well, this
Sean don't
week.
pull his phone
You
out.
can go to
Send a little text.
I don't have to
or
do
a call.
Holy shit,
I'm done in 3 hours and 49 minutes.
Where do I go?
Close to mine.
What do you
And
got?
then it can show you. Oh, you just turned it on.
Yep.
So you
settings.
haven't been recording your data. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, my screen
Yeah,
on yours.
screen time last week.
Yeah. So some people may not have it on.
Yeah, mine's, you don't have yours on. You just turn
No,
yours
we're
on
looking
and
at
it'll
screen
tell you.
time and unhealthy obsessions.
Oh.
Unhealthy relationships. All right. You all right there? You need a copy?
All right. So let's go with.
Ask me the same question next week.
I will. So let's go with 5 hours. Average, right?
444 is me.
Oh, holy shit. All right.
Oh, you were 6 hours.
Did he
And
say
also,
nothing?
Yeah.
part of this is actually
When
recording
you are,
everything
hold
my
on, check me
phone,
out.
So it's gonna count
What's
that
your-
Stay
screen time
focused.
because
Come
I'm
back,
not
come
really
back.
on
Hey!
my phone. Sorry.
The way in which 2 or more things are connected, or the state of being connected. You feel pretty connected to me right now. Do you still feel as connected to me as you did without my phone in my hand?
Maybe.
No, it feels like you're kind of distracted. Like if you have your phone, like you're still waiting for somebody to like text you.
I'm not doing anything with it. It's just in my hand. And this alone impacts the relationship. Imagine if this was a alcoholic beverage.
Oh no.
You know what I mean?
No.
A bad, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You're not gonna focus. And you may not think that I'm focused. You may be like, what is this guy doing? What? Put your fucking phone away. You know what I mean?
Dude, put
Now,
the fucking
why?
bag up, dog.
Why is having my phone, like, if I have my phone out, am I paying attention to you?
No.
Clearly not.
No, well,
Not
Somewhat.
depends.
Or you might be looking
Not
at
your
them, but
full
the words are
attention,
going
for sure,
right
halfway.
through the ears and right out the other ear.
And it's like, dude, is it halfway? You know what I mean? Who's to say how you see something on your phone that grips you? Who's to say you're not in the state of thinking of that for a long bro? Sometimes I wake up and I'll like check Instagram and there'll be like some guy being fucking murdered on Instagram and that's in my brain the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Lit.
I can't get that out of my fucking
I
head.
wonder why I wouldn't.
Huh?
That's not good on Instagram.
So,
Bro,
Dude,
all,
it's on Instagram
and
I
all
don't.
the
I mean,
time.
I've hardly ever on.
it's
Y'all never seen somebody
But
get killed on Instagram?
regardless of that, regardless of what you're being exposed
Have
to,
you seen
I could get a text message from my mom saying, I don't feel good today. And that could give me the same impact. I could be thinking about that all fucking day, dude. And she, I could call her and she could say, hey, I'm fine, everything's okay, I just don't feel well. And I don't believe that. And I still am unable to stop thinking about it. You see what I'm saying? So just because I'm seeing someone get murdered on my phone or I check the fucking weather on it, the phone impacts my emotions. Practically or sentimentally. You see what I'm saying?
I think that the phone should be like you were saying, the coffee, so that your mind can get together before you should take 2 hours before you look at your phone.
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I suck at that, dude. I wake up and I fucking check on my daughter. I check my fucking emails. I check tons of shit. And but then I put it down. I should probably not do that at first. Maybe do that after. I'll try that. Okay, so now we put, we'll say 5 hours a day into our phone. When we're into our phone, we're not fully engaged, we're partially engaged. Whether that engagement is 50-50, 80-20, whatever the case may be, it is a representation, like it's a clear indication that you're not fully there. That's just your cell phone, okay? Now let's talk about time. How many hours in a day are there?
24.
How many?
Technically only 12.
How many hours are you?
Yeah.
Because you're fucking sleeping 12.
Well, the daytime's only 12 hours.
Okay, so you got 12. We'll say sleeping 8 hours, so 24 goes down to 16. And then you're on your phone 5 hours. Time goes down to 11. 5 hours a day times a week, 35 hours. You're looking at basically spending almost a full-time job on our cell phone. Just like this. And I'm guilty too. But actually, my screen time is watching things while I drive, actually, so it's not good either.
Bryce put in overtime.
I'll watch like Joe Rogan episodes while I'm fucking driving my car.
Jimmy, Bryce putting in overtime. He got 77 hours.
77 hours. Let's just go with the fucking 40. Let's just call 40, right?
I put a meditation on to fall asleep, so that's probably a few of those hours.
So you can like track that data, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you can see, well, is my 5 hours on social media? Is my 5 hours at night listening to a YouTube video?
I don't have social media. I got Snapchat. That's it.
But these are just things to ask, you know what I mean? Where am I putting this time in? Now, when do people you think get a cell phone?
During the day.
No, like age-wise.
8 years old.
It's crazy how young they're giving them. We won't give our kids smartphones until they're like
10.
They're 14.
Both my girls got theirs around
My daughter was
12, like, what, yeah.
My daughter got
9.
8.
Right
All right,
in
10.
school.
I like 10.
I got
Until
mine
eighth
at
grade.
12, my first one.
When do you think they lose their phone when they die?
Yeah.
Right? Average life expectancy 80. So you're looking at 70 years of potential cell phone use at 5 hours a day. Let's do some math, folks. 550 times 52 is 2,006. So yearly, we're spending 2,600 hours in our phone. Not in relationships with people. Not with maybe you could be having like that online relationship with people if you want to look at it that way.
Did you see the Dr. Phil interview on Joe Rogan? It was about he talked a lot about this. They talked about fentanyl. It was really good.
Yeah. Now multiply that by 70. What is it?
182,000.
Is it the rule that it takes 10,000 hours to master something?
Yeah.
You get it in less than 4 years.
Isn't that wild, dude?
Technically, you probably get it quicker than that because we're probably all spending a little bit over 5 hours on our phone. That's just like an average time.
Now, this is over a lifetime, right?
Wait, 182,000.
It takes 10,000 hours to
lifetime.
master.
Yeah, we won't
Yeah,
have that.
yeah.
That's 70 years.
Just like with, you
Now-
said that with the drug
Make up for the
situation.
10-year-old.
And you added it up like it would take
That's-
so many years. But you gotta think about it, we're probably spending way more hours than we actually did the math on.
Mhm.
And so it's probably taken, I don't know, months, 2 years, something like that.
Right. And then
That's 7,500 days.
that's the answer I wanted. Now, how many years is that? 7,500 days on your cell phone is how many years?
Wait, 20.
Divided by.
It's like 21 years basically.
Imagine being on your deathbed, looking back on a life, 21 years of this.
Yeah, mine's not gonna look like that.
That's sad, dude, but that's the fucking reality.
That's the fucking reality.
It's probably
That's
gonna get worse as the years
now
go.
wait. That's with the object of a cellular device,
At 5 hours.
huh?
At 5 hours.
At 5 hours,
Yes.
right?
We're not
Yeah,
even
you double that
counting.
shit if
And
you're
keep
doing
in
it.
mind, like when you look at the national average, that's the national average.
What is the national average?
5.5 hours.
Are you saying 5 hours per day or
Yes.
I
per
think that's
week?
the wrong
Per day.
average.
You figured out per week.
Well,
I'd
that's
say
what
that's-
we were getting to.
Yeah, yeah,
so y'all-
yeah, yeah.
It's also
Per year,
5
for 70 years.
I bet the age
You
has
gotta
an impact too.
understand,
Like
Now,
I'm saying like the number's a lot higher.
so now
R.I.P. to me.
You're making me
What about the relationship with drugs and alcohol?
It's the same.
How much, Kieran already knows this. How much time have we put into getting and using and finding ways and means? How many times have I been connected with drugs and alcohol? How much time have I been in the state of under the influence of drugs and alcohol?
Long ass time.
From the time that you started to the time that you stopped. I mean, like, I can actually probably sit here and say over 20-something years.
In the past 5 years, 24/7, 365.
I had 4.5 years.
And that's a concern.
But I was literally nonstop.
That's a conservative
4.5 years.
Right.
estimate.
Right.
Probably, I mean,
Now, that is a sentimental relationship. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's no longer that object relationship. The same thing with the cell phone, bro. I have a sentimental attachment to the pictures, the videos, everything on my phone. Like, I love, dude. And I'm not a bad person for that, dude. And I'm not a bad person if I fall to the powerlessness of Facebook alerts, you know, all types of shit like that. But if I'm not aware of it and I'm not making the right decisions, one day I could look back and 20 years of my life is gone. And my kids are grown up, my fucking skin is wrinkly, and I am unable to change anything in my life.
But how can you stop this? Like,
There's no stopping some of it.
You can't stop it now.
No, there's managing it.
Boundary.
The boundaries. Like, look at this, dude. Going back to the healthy relationship. Like, a healthy relationship requires boundaries. I have boundaries on my cell phone, dude. I don't always follow them. You know what I mean? But I try not to go on my phone, social media after an hour. I canceled all my notifications. I don't get notifications on my phone, so I'm not always picking it up. You know what I mean? There's ways that there's actions and things that I can do to prevent myself from acting on that behavior. The same thing with drugs and alcohol, food, video games, shopping. Like, you're looking at addictions to, like, things, you know what I mean? And a lot of that can be prevented by, like, managing and balancing the time that we're exposing ourselves to it. So you got some objects that are, now, who does someone become if they put a ton of time, effort, and themselves into their cell phone? Like, think about someone who's always on their phone. What mental and moral quality do these people have?
Ignorance.
Ignorance, isolating.
I would just say disrespectful, just for the fact of not paying attention.
I see that too, dude.
I mean,
right?
I do it, so.
Sometimes you just want to escape. You know,
I
you
would
just need to
consider it
just escape.
disrespectful, but I know I do it, and I know it's disrespectful.
And some people are powerless over being disrespectful. There is no time in between a desire to pull our phone out and pulling the phone out. Yeah. Like, I'll see people in here, the phone rings, and they pick it up. Sorry, bro, I gotta take this real quick. Sorry, this phone call is more important than my own life and my recovery. Yo, let the phone ring. Have you ever let the phone ring?
Yeah, when I was on drugs.
You know what You know what I'm saying?
Yes, the sentimental value is a little bit more important to the drugs than the phone. That value.
What do the drugs and the phone have in common, though?
You can escape.
The power to remove me from the moment?
Yeah. Powerless in general. Unmanageability.
You just
Insanity.
want to escape.
Just want to escape.
Yeah.
What am I trying to escape?
Having to sit with how you feel inside.
You're just
Life.
you. You're trying to escape you in general.
Are there objects that can help us?
Yes.
People.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
I mean,
we're
they
talking.
say the phone is an important tool to recovery.
So there's some balance in there.
Balance.
You know what I mean? Are there other objects that may facilitate recovery?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, let's go back to the phone, right? The phone helped me a lot because the way I got to detox, the way I got here is because of this phone. Jesse called me multiple times. I had to pick it up, talk to him, be like, hey, yes, I'm on my way, or do something, you know? That's helpful. I guess that's healthy boundaries.
Yeah. There's a way to use it and there's a way to abuse it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Plenty of us have Meeting Finder or, you know, Everything AA or Cloud, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's tools on our phone that is actually helpful to our recovery.
What are tools that are not your phone? Fuck your phone, dude.
Alright, fuck your phone, alright.
Everyone's like, I got this.
Well, we discussed it, like, Big Book,
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep.
Big Book,
Journal.
journaling, note taking.
Boom.
Books in general.
Working out, like
Gym equipment.
Yeah.
Gym equipment.
Yes.
The big book.
These are objects that facilitate recovery. Now, which one feels better? Having recovery facilitated through a phone or having recovery facilitated through gym equipment?
Gym equipment.
I'd rather go to a meeting, if I'm being honest. Like that would be the best thing.
But that's still the point. Like, would you rather get it through your phone or would you rather get it through a meeting?
I'd rather just go to a meeting.
Exactly.
And that's different than your phone, though. You see what I'm
Or
saying?
Zoom, yeah,
Fuck my
person to
phone.
person.
Like,
I don't look
there
at my
is.
phone whatsoever.
I don't know if there's scientific comparison between exercising and person to person, like community communication type of thing, but those are two tools that serve two different purposes. You see what I'm saying? There's no saying which is better, which is worse, but I can't spend all my time in the gym. I can't spend all my time on the phone. I can't put all my effort into the gym. I can't put all my effort into the phone. There has to be a balance, dude. And if I'm unable to control that balance, I'm the one who has problems. And my character, my mental and moral quality of myself, my phone's ringing right now. It's fucking ringing right now. I don't give a fuck. Is dependent upon my ability to manage these objects in my life. And we're talking phone, coffee, water, food, car, your desk at work, your fucking clothes that you have to fold, and like, think about that. Do you put effort into folding your clothes, or you just fucking throw them over there?
It really just well,
You know what I
depends. No, actually, I'm better about it now.
Like, do you put effort into this? Do you put time into this? Are you putting yourself into having a healthy relationship with your phone? Having a healthy relationship with your recovery. We'll talk about the big book, right? The basic text, right?
Yep.
What's a healthy relationship? Time, effort, self. Do you put time, quality time, into reading the fucking basic text?
Yeah.
Are you quantifying that over an extended period of time? Are you putting effort into it? Like reading it, not like reading it, getting distracted, doing other shit, reading it? You know what I mean? Are you reading it?
No. I'm listening to it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But that's another thing. Are you just listening to it, or are you listening and reading?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you look at all of those, you look at all those variables, you may find like an optimized way to have the healthiest relationship with this object. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, I read the big book throughout the week, and then go to a meeting Wednesday where it's kind of a big book kind of study. Then Thursday I have an actual big book study, Then I also meet with my sponsor, and we read the big book, so it's like almost 4 times a week.
Is there a way to optimize your relationship with drugs and alcohol?
Most definitely.
Not for me.
Stay away from them. That's
Optimize.
optimization.
Like I think about my addiction, right? And my efforts to make my relationship with drugs and alcohol healthy.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying?
Definitely not.
Like,
I
can
thought
I-
that could happen, but
Can
no.
I have a healthy relationship with drugs and
No.
alcohol?
You can't drink like a gentleman.
Well,
you can't snort coke.
No,
like a
that's
gentleman.
obviously for each person to decide, correct?
Correct.
So for you, that's, you know it's no. For me, I know it's no.
Right,
You know.
exactly. Yep. Now, what is a healthy relationship with, let's call it addiction? Because this isn't like drug management, this is addiction, right? So what is a healthy relationship with addiction? Now, addiction may be a concept, but there are objects associated with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can use it to help others.
Like, can I have a healthy relationship with drugs and alcohol, or the state that drugs and alcohol brings me or brings someone else?
I think that you
I could use it
can,
for
that
help.
you have the relationship, the healthy part of it is your awareness. Awareness of
Yeah.
what it does to you, to everyone, and that recognizing how that affects yourself and other people gives you a angle or some stand on to say that this is good. It gives you
Yeah, I agree with that.
Say there is a domestic violent relationship. Okay? It's an unhealthy domestic relationship. Person A removes themselves from person B. What would be required for there to be a healthy relationship between those two?
I don't think it's possible.
Counseling.
After it gets to
Yeah, I
medicine,
don't
I
know.
don't think
It's
it's
that
possible.
weird.
I mean, it's almost like
We're all like,
once
no.
you get addicted, it's like, what are we gonna do to make it a healthy relationship between you and drugs?
you gotta
That's
have
not
awareness
possible.
also of that.
It's
That
not possible.
that there's a problem. That there's actually an issue that that you're beating on this person or domestic. You have to be the person who's doing it might not even be aware that they have to. They're hitting the person, but they might not put together that I'm actually hurting someone.
You think alcohol has that consciousness?
Exactly.
You think heroin is gonna sit there and say, "Man, I'm sorry, man, I've been fucking you over"?
No.
You think alcohol is gonna go to therapy and say,
No.
"Wow, man, I've really been treating you bad"?
If you're high enough, you can.
I'll see you there.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's a healthy relationship with it, especially for us after having our experience with addiction. Like, if I'm in a domestic violent, like you're beating me in my relationship, I need to go to therapy and you need to go to therapy. We both need to recognize something's messed up and continue to work on this on a day-to-day basis for an outcome that is desired to result. But that doesn't happen with drugs and alcohol. You're talking about a one-sided relationship, dude.
I mean, I think it kind of does pertain to the same thing with the domestic violence shit. I mean, in my head, I believe once it fucking happens, and once it's a reoccurring thing, you can go to fucking counseling all you want. I think the only person that's gonna help is the victor, or not the victor, the victim. The victor, though, I don't. I mean, maybe it might help them in their next relationship on, but with that same person, I feel like it's the same thing as if you go right back to the drugs and alcohol thinking, okay, I can drink like a gentleman or something like that. And it's not. It's just not going to happen.
I think those people on both sides, if they do not look at their behavior and try to fix it, they're bound to take that baggage into the next relationship.
Exactly.
And
I think that's the only thing it's gonna help is for the next relationship.
It's like us switching one drug for another. You know what I mean? It's like me instead of like changing the problem.
But the counterpoint on what he is saying is that, say this person, the person that's been beating, male or female, was beating themselves. They start counseling, they actually work on it. It's like saying, because I'm an alcoholic, I'm always gonna be an alcoholic. No, there are behaviors, there are things you can do to change it, so it might work out. I'm not saying it's a high chance on it, but you know,
But
there's
now
always hope. If you're willing to change and you're gonna do the work, there's always hope, even in a situation with domestic violence.
Do we know if the victor is willing to change ever?
Well, we're assuming in this part that they do want to change. We're not talking about somebody leaving because the other person won't change.
And this is, we're going pretty deep in this analogy, but looking at the person who's like doing it for themselves, right? They need help to continue to facilitate that.
Correct.
And there's good things, there are things out there that can facilitate that, and there are things out there that can not facilitate that. And it's up to me to like make the decision and go toward like what's gonna make me better versus what's gonna make me worse.
Yeah.
Drugs, alcohol, domestic relationships even have this sneaky way of being like, it's okay, baby. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. And we are powerless over that. Like, unless you got some powers greater than yourself or some spiritual awakening, the defense mechanisms against that are weak, you know? So that's why now let's go back to drugs and alcohol. Like, we're removing you from drugs and alcohol. You're having zero contact with drugs and alcohol. We're implementing new education, new ideas, new concepts, so that when you are re-exposed to this, you have a different feeling and response to it, right? Holy shit. Now, with objects, now think about this. Take that family relationship that you're talking about from the last part, and it's getting better, and it's increasing, right? And everything's going well. It's getting healthy, the respect, the boundaries, the support. What happens to that relationship if you introduce drugs or alcohol?
It goes right back down the drain. I mean,
What happens if you introduce...
It becomes healthy.
No.
The opposite.
It's like adding a third person to the relationship.
Yeah, because think about it, right? What is that?
It's like adding a third person to the relationship.
That's exactly what it is.
And not even just a third person, you're adding a third person that is now stepping between you.
Yeah, it's like adding a fucker to the relationship.
Yeah, and that's and that can happen with like me and you chilling, and then I just pull my phone out, just to like check it, dude, real quick. You know what I mean? Like
the third person in between you and his relationship.
So you're seeing these objects have power, dude. And if I'm not managing my relationship with these objects, my relationship with people can become unmanageable. And vice versa, right? My relationship with an object can become unmanageable as a result of your relationship with that object. My girl's obsessed about a golf cart right now.
Like, yeah, Peachtree City.
Yeah, bro, you know what I mean? So it's like, she wants this golf cart. I don't really care about it. I'll fucking walk around, run anywhere. I'm not really worried about it. But you see, like, without the object, we're walking everywhere, doing things like that. Having the golf cart, it could enhance the relationship. The relationship could be better. Now, I don't care about the golf cart, but I'm still able to like talk to her about it, listen about it, and yeah, it's pretty much the point I'm trying to make. I don't really know where I was going with that point. I forgot. How do I start managing my relationships with these objects? Looking at time, effort, and self. What is the quality of time you're putting into your phone? How much time are you putting into your phone? And we're using phone as one, but what you look at is drugs and alcohol, right? How much time you put into drugs, how has drugs and alcohol impacted your relationships? Not just the actual having the drink or the drug, but just the state that it brings you to. Like, how do you get when you're high or drunk?
There's a spectrum to that, but most times I'm probably just really quiet.
So we're
Lucky
we're hanging out.
Oh, no change? No change?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not normally like. There's a difference. Like I'll be really quiet for the most part. I'll be probably like in my head a lot.
How do people know you're high or drunk?
Well, my eyes normally give it off.
The state that your eyes are in. You see what I'm saying?
It'll basically be closed if I'm
Like, your friends have a relationship with the state that your eyes come to.
definitely.
Isn't that fucking crazy? Like, I'm able to say, nah, you're not. It's your eyes, dude. You know, it's the way you're moving. It's like, that's the state the way you talk, that's the state that the drink or the drug brings you to. And just me having the idea that you're fucked up makes me feel some type of way. Just the idea that you don't understand this, you don't understand why I feel this way, like that could be a problem, dude. The fact that you don't have this concept or certain concepts about relationships with people, objects, is a shortcoming. It's a fault or failure to meet the standards of this relationship I'm trying to have with you. You know what I mean? I need you to be here and you're not. I need you to be that. Like, be the character you're supposed to fucking be. And it has nothing to do with your physical, everything to do with your mental. Everything to do with the way I perceive it, the way I imagine it, the way I believe it.
Well, yeah, that's like how you could relate the golf cart thing. Like, you don't care about the golf cart like we might not care about getting high or something, but the result of getting the golf cart could change the relationship between you and your wife, just like us choosing to get high could do the same thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously the golf cart would probably have a positive outcome.
Positive, yeah, positive valence or whatever, right? What is an idea that is in the way of some important relationships in your life right now?
Alcohol.
Your own idea and the way you view alcohol is getting in the way of your relationship. Anybody agree with that?
Yeah.
You know? Would you agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? My own misunderstanding of this is getting in the way of my relationships. Now, what else? What are some other ones? What concepts? Some ideas, like misunderstanding. Like, what's an argument like we can't come to agree with?
People leave when you just are vulnerable.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Like you actually say what you want and they.
I have this idea that when I say how I feel, people leave me. That's a concept, and I have a relationship with it. How do you think someone develops a relationship with the idea every time I'm vulnerable, people leave me?
Because it happens.
Yeah. Abandonment and rejection. I mean,
It happens so much.
it has to. Yeah, it happened too much, and to the point where I'm like, I don't want to be honest with you anymore. Fuck you.
And I never talk about the concept anymore.
Nope.
I never share about it. Who does someone become from that?
Jaded, I feel
Locked
like.
off.
Because there's going to be a time where you're going to be in a relationship with someone and they're going to need you to be vulnerable. They're going to need you to do this thing. And I've been spending all my years trying to not do that. And now I have to. Right?
You'll be resentful.
I'm going to be resentful. It's also going to be and take so much more effort than I probably imagine it taking.
Yeah, more than it should take.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because I avoid sitting with an idea, having a relationship with an idea. What makes a healthy fucking relationship? You need to respect that idea. Even if you don't agree with it, respect it. Give the devil its due,
Put some
baby.
respect on its name.
You know what I mean? Like, this person thinks this way, respect their thoughts, dude. Jump. How does it feel when someone doesn't respect your point of view?
Very shitty.
It's
like a fucking word.
Pisses me off beyond fucking.
Well, that's like right now. I have the idea that I've changed because I'm dealing with my problems, but my significant other isn't convinced that I've changed. She can't accept that idea yet. And yeah.
You have this idea of I'm changing. She has this idea of no, you're not. And unless we mesh those ideas and agree with it, the relationship isn't gonna go.
Right.
It's not gonna go. Like, we have to agree on this idea and keep it moving, right? How does one idea impact a relationship? Like, what would you...
Well, I mean, like, you know, relationship, let's say family, like you were just saying, you know, the way that the idea that, you know, your girl thinks that you're this way, it impacts your whole relationship. I mean, when people have ideas, the preconcepts of who you are, then it's like putting up a wall, and you can't, you know, you have to break it down, you know, by proving yourself, by walking the walk, you know, talking the talk.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't even, in that instance, be trying to prove it to them. Prove it to yourself, and if they can't see it, then I think that would be your answer to your problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you?
Because proving it to somebody else is doing nothing for yourself.
Are there boundaries to concepts, to ideas?
100%.
Like, maybe there's no boundary to ideas. Like, you can think about anything you want to think about, but there's a boundary to, like, applying, like, the application of that idea. You see what I'm saying? So I can think about fucking... Dude, one time I was in acting class. This is so fucking funny, dude. I'm in acting class, and they go, all right, everybody, close your eyes. And I close my fucking eyes, and they go, I want you to imagine a dragon.
Oh shit.
What is your dragon? Is your dragon big? Is your dragon small? And I'm fucking sitting there like, oh my god. My dragon. I'm like, my dragon, dude. And everyone, and we all sit there, and then we all go around, and everyone shares their dragon. And like, you see all these people who like love acting, and I'm like here because I went to theater in college. I got my master's in like theater. It's like, fuck you, dude. You know what I mean? Fuck you and your fucking theater, dude. I'm here to have fun. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, oh, my dragon is big with scales and this and blows fire. My dragon is small and cute and like fluffy. And they're like, Jimmy, what's your dragon? I'm like, fuck, dude, I think I did this wrong. And he's like, Jimmy, there's no wrong in acting. And I'm like, my...
Oh, yeah?
I'm like, I go, my dragon is tattooed on the belly of Will Ferrell. And they're like, what? And I go, and Will Ferrell is acting like the dragon tattooed on his belly. So my dragon was tattooed on Will Ferrell. So everyone's like imagining dragons. And I'm imagining Will Ferrell going, rawr, rawr, and everyone was like, dude. But the teacher was like, that is creativity. You know what I mean? Like, that is what people will buy instead of like the little dragon. Like people are more inclined to buy your idea, Jimmy, than like this idea. The concept, right? Like think outside the box. Like what if I can stay sober? You know what I mean? Like are your concepts, the things you think, the ideas you have, are most of them positive or negative?
It depends on my
Or
mood
funny.
usually.
Huh? It depends on the mood, right? Well, then I should probably focus on being in a good mood. Is it possible to like think positively regardless of my mood? Like to have a positive perspective on my mood regardless of
Technically,
circumstances?
yes, because the only thing that humans have control over is their emotions. So you technically have the power to
What if you have a
control
mood
whether you're
disorder?
going to
You
have a
gotta
good
go.
mood or a bad mood.
Well, you're seeing, say you came to me and you were like, Jimmy, can I sit down with you? I'd be like, yeah, dude, like let's fucking sit down. You pull me aside and you're like, hey man, I have this idea, you know, I really want to like help people in sobriety, and you like tell me this idea, and I just really need someone like you, and you know, how do you think you feel telling me that idea? Good, right? Like, dude, this is sick. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Ha! Bitch, you thought.
And then I go, that's fucking stupid. How would you feel in response to me presenting this idea that I think your idea is fucking stupid?
Like shit.
Yo! You're having a direct emotional response to the idea that I think your idea is stupid. That's emotional, dude. What do you think happens to someone who goes through life constantly being told they're fucking stupid?
I don't feel too fucking good.
Every single and what if they're not stupid, but they only make stupid choices around drugs and alcohol? But they're an alcoholic. Imagine every single day being told or feeling like you're stupid because that's shame, you know what I mean? As a result of our own behavior, I may have a distorted view on myself, you know what I mean? It may be difficult for me to like view myself in a different light. And these ideas, these concepts are probably harder to let go than people and objects. You're talking about just ideas about what can happen in the future prevents me from like having a future. You know? Not saying that like all ideas are great ideas, but it's up to me to confirm or deny that I should or should not be thinking this way. That this is a concept that is on the foundation of science or the foundation of fucking, I don't know, astrology. Not saying astrology is not science, but I don't think it is. It's not for me to determine. You know what I mean? I have at times not knocked on wood and nothing happened to me. Right? Think about that. What's your relationship with like the idea that if I don't knock on wood, if I don't throw this salt over my shoulder?
It's a strong bond for me. I'm always knocking on glass to save my ass.
Yo, it's like, think about your relationship with that idea.
You gotta trust your higher power. Like I wouldn't say believe in like worldly things, but believe in higher power to trust.
What if my
Higher power is a concept. Think about that. Higher power is a concept. What's your relationship with a higher power? Is my relationship with a higher power a positive one? My higher power looks out for me. He's good for me. He's always coming through, helping me out, got my back. Or is it like, he smites me, he fucking hates me, he treats me like shit? Like, what is your idea about your relationship with this idea? You know what I mean? And your relationship with a higher power may impact my relationship with a higher power. May impact my relationship with my family at home. I can't tell you how many times like someone says something in here And I'm like, damn, bro. And I like, it like changes me for the day. And I like go home and I'm thinking about what they said and I'm just happier. You know what I mean? And it's like, nothing tangibly changed in my life. I didn't get anything new. I didn't make a new friend or anything. It was just some new idea that I had never heard of before. Changed my whole life, dude. Has there been an idea that's been presented into your life that you have like harnessed that relationship with? What's that idea?
I mean, it could be something I learned in class.
Just like recovery, dude. Just like the idea that I can stay sober, bro. And in order to have that become a healthy relationship, you need to spend time in that idea.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have high quality thoughts in that time. You need to put effort into facilitating that thought process. Like effort, like what's some effort that I could put into that could make me feel good about myself? Exercise. What was it? Participating. You see what I'm saying? So now you're getting a formula into like building a better relationship with the idea that like I love myself. And you have a tangible, actual plan on how to do that. Look, today we did the deepest dive you're ever gonna do on relationships. And I didn't even go as far, like I actually could talk more about this in the next class, but I'm not gonna. We're gonna go right into the inventory next week. Then we're gonna talk all about relationships in an inventory perspective, but this is my class that I teach on relationships just to give you a full understanding of how complex and intense these can be. You could have everything in order and one idea can change everything, bro. You know what I mean? Imagine if I'm in a relationship and then all of a sudden one day my girl goes, I cheated on you. I have no data. I don't know the person. I don't have any objects. Just that idea. I'm no longer to see you in the same character I saw you 5 seconds ago.
Well, you can't say like, oh, you cheated. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. The mental and moral quality of you having done that behavior does not align with my morals. Your whole character has changed as a result of admitting that. And the same thing happens when people go, I'm an addict. There is no like, okay, cool. You want to like go get coffee? It's like, you're an addict, bro? That idea, that concept. Imagine, like, some people are afraid that their whole life is going to be compiled with moments of having to go, I'm an addict, and people going, whoa. And that prevents them from ever having a relationship with that idea, dude. Spending time with it. Putting an effort into facilitating it and embodying it. Like, making it a part of you, dude. Okay. That's relationships in a nutshell. Actually, in a fucking big-ass glass house, dude. Not even a nutshell. That's like a big... We talked about some big shit today, dude. When I come back on Monday, we're going to do the inventory. But before I leave, I'm going to show you guys the video. I want you to see that. So if you guys want to see the intro to my documentary, hang loose while I set this up, and we'll put it on.